People retention in the M&A process. How do you sell your business and maximize the probability that your employees are still going to have their jobs and their roles on a post-transaction basis? We'll walk through 4 prongs that we like to check in every exercise to maximize those probabilities. And at the end, one insight that we've seen from our last few years in particular across all middle market and lower middle market transactions. So first is clearly defining things. If you have 50 employees, 10 employees, 5 employees, but you can't really define what anybody does, it's going to be very difficult for a prospective acquirer to look at the company and say, how are these people valuable? How can we retain them? In what capacity can any of these individuals continue on a post-transaction basis? However, if we clearly define, if we specify, this is what these people do, this is what they're excellent at, this is their areas of specialty, well, by virtue of doing that, you make them very usable and in a good way on a post-transaction basis to a prospective acquirer, whether they stay in the specific role that they're currently in, or if they're multitasked into a different one, or shifted more broadly within a company, but specifically defining people's attributes and capabilities can only help in that exercise. Secondly is cross-training. And so within a company, and this is just good measure to fail-safe your own business to make sure that if someone falls out, if some process gets thrown off kilter, that people within the company are trained across a few different components. Now, you don't want to spread people too thin where they're not an expert at anything, but if someone has a primary objective or primary area within the business, you may want to have a secondary which they're trained, and then lay over all of these across all different activities of the business such that there's no activity of the business that only has one layer of human capital supporting it. Next is upward trajectory. If you're defining what they do, if you're saying how they're cross-trained, then you also want to define what is their capacity going forward. How could they further enhance their skill set? How could their skill set further enhance the business? And so you can almost think of these exercises as you're pre-interviewing your employees for the acquirer. And so the better you can spell out exactly, again, what they do, how they're cross-trained, and again, what their trajectory is, how they could even do more for the business, you're only improving the odds that they will be retained, and even beyond that, have an upward trajectory with the new acquirer or the new owner of the business. Lastly is the qualitative elements of commitment. And as much as I think people get very metric-driven and capability and matrix-driven in the sense of ticking different boxes of different variables, it's important to also communicate what is the commitment level. And so if you have people within the company, which likely we all do if we have successful businesses, that are highly committed to the business, that are very motivated and highly eager to keep contributing to the business, well, explain that. Tell people about that. If that's part of the narrative that can be communicated to a potential acquirer of the business, again, it can only help. And so if we're selling a business, and a key, as it is in the vast majority of our engagements, is to maximize employee retention on a post-transaction basis, 4 elements that we want to highlight are specifying what they do, defining if they are cross-trained and in what capacities, explaining what their upward trajectory is, and then qualitatively, what is the commitment level, what is the desire to stay with the company, and what makes that person special in terms of being eager to continue contributing to the business as it continues to grow with the newer owner and operator. So lastly, an insight that we've seen in our transactions, given that we're primarily focused on the 1 to 10 million EBITDA pre-tax profit range for a company, is the middle market is starving for talent. Acquirers of companies that have 10, 20, 50, 150 employees are looking for ways to keep these people, are looking for ways to make these people useful and productive in a new transaction, how to incentivize them properly to want to stay around. We're in a battle for talent, for skilled labor, for white-collar jobs. I mean, really across the spectrum, in almost every industry we see, there is a lack of talent, a lack of people that are good, a lack of people that are capable, and a lack of people that are committed. And so if you can define it as such, you're actually working with the tide. And so it's almost yours to lose in certain situations, or almost ours to lose. And so we want to make sure that we're doing best by our clients. We want to make sure that we're doing best by all of their employees and stakeholders who have helped them grow the business to the point that it is sellable, that we can ultimately give them a path forward that creates the highest probability for their futures as well. And so that's a thought for today. People considerations in M&A that will optimize the retention of talent. Hope the week continues to go well. Keep pushing forward. God bless. We'll see you next time.